Hello, everybody, and welcome. My name is Jamie Stewart, and I'm joined today by the lovely Yulia Bolshakova.
Hi, Jamie.
Good afternoon. Well, it's afternoon while we're recording this anyway. So, Yulia has a business called Yulia I Organize, and she is a virtual executive assistant. And you're probably wondering, what is that? So Yulia, I would describe as the extra pair of hands that you need in your business to help you probably get rid of some of the things that you don't like doing, finish work earlier, take days off, have holidays without stressing about your business. And like most things, I guess, bringing in somebody into your business, opening up to some of the things that you maybe don't do very well requires that your clients go through a period of change, Yulia. So today we're talking about how to adapt to change.
Yes, thanks, Jamie. That's such a great introduction. Absolutely brilliant. And yes, I think, and especially after the last year, we all had to embrace the change. We're all embracing the change throughout our life, whatever it is. We're moving houses, changing jobs, starting a new business, collaborating with somebody new, working with someone new. But last year, we particularly faced one change that brought us all together, and it was pandemic. Because now, okay, we've adapted, we live in the new normal. But before that, when it all started happening, no handshakes, no hugs, you can't see family, you can't travel, restaurants closed, business closing down. Everything was just too much for everyone, but people were all in this together, which just showed us that we are all able to change and to adapt. And that's why I love this quote by Charles Dickens, actually. He said, it's not the strongest of the thieves, nor the most intelligent, is the one who's adaptable to a change. And even last year, some of us adapted to the change better than others. And like with myself, I think with adaptability, I've just created like a toolkit for myself, a power of 3 things that I need to do when I'm embracing a new project or a new client or helping a client to actually adapt, not saying to the client, this is what you have to do, but just to give an advice what to actually do with that adaptability. And maybe you can find it useful if I share it with you or anyone else who's like just watching this video.
Perfect.
So,
I think we're all constantly going through change. So I'd love to hear more.
Exactly. So apart from pandemic, Jamie, can you think of the biggest change in your life that you had to embrace? And just name it.
When I started my business.
That's it. And it's exactly the same with me. I think my adaptability actually helped me to start my own business, to be running my own business, to have this business actually scaling up now. And also adaptability helped me to immigrate a few times in the world. As you know, I was born in Russia, I've got Russian DNA. Then I used to live in the UK. Then I moved to South Africa because I have family there. So adaptability can help a person to start all over again. And like you said, just to start your own business. And with myself, I think like my toolkit, like I said, like a power of 3 things. This is what I do with any new like venture challenge that I bring onto myself, whether it can be a small challenge, just to learn about new software. You still have to adapt to it because you've never used something before. And my toolkit is first, I say yes to things I normally say no. And for example, when myself or my client, when we're just talking about a project and we're embracing like a software, maybe my client never used before, or I've never used it with my client. So I have to say yes to things I normally say no. Nobody wants to open up this new software, the new program, just because you have no idea how to use it. You're very comfortable with pen and paper, Excel, Word, but not the software that just looks a bit, overwhelming sometimes. But you have to embrace it. And once you said yes to maybe even a new course, how to use the software, or just YouTube videos, or for you just to sit in there with the software for a few hours a day, it will help you just to adapt to something new. And actually, I've got an example, and I think that comes from my London career. I've never thought I'm a public speaker, and I'd never thought I'm actually comfortable of being around a crowd of people that I don't know. So to actually work on it, I had to say yes to things I normally say no. And I've signed up for tap dance with strangers. And I know it's completely different to my career development, but it just helped me to do something very strange for my nature, surrounded by strangers. So actually, when I go to the business meeting, and that time it was still face to face, and just be comfortable with it. So I had to adapt to that change by doing strange things that I normally say no to.
Yeah.
And my second one, I always surround myself, try to surround myself with like we say, like-minded people. Surround yourself with your tribe. So when you're going through the change, just surround yourself with your support group. Maybe just keep in touch with your friends, your colleagues, your family, and it will be enough. Find a new tribe. So maybe those are interests, businesses. You don't have to be from the same area. Maybe you just like to hike a certain mountain in the UK somewhere. This can be something that will actually help you to grow. So surround yourself with people who are interested in you and can be interested in your new venture. So it will help you to adapt. And my third one, and I think this one is the least forgotten sometimes, but many of us, is just take care of yourself. Because we don't actually think about the power of taking care of ourselves. We're so caught up in life admin. Life is so busy. We've got work, business we're working on, then life admin, and we just don't think how important it is to actually just to look after ourselves by ourselves. And by doing that, you don't have to go to a luxury spa every day. You can just go for a walk. You can just be with yourself, with your thoughts. You can go for a hike. You can just explore a new town. You can go for a drive. Or with me, I think my main priority is my sleep. I know if I don't have a good night's sleep, that's a game over. So for me, it's always, I have to have a good night's sleep. So even if I've got a new project starting tomorrow, I know I need to sleep well. And then once I've looked after myself well, then I know that I will embrace the change easier compared to if I didn't have a good night's sleep. And for me, exercise helps, of course, and just connecting with nature. Go for a brisk walk. And we know the benefits of the exercise. And sometimes we don't do that, we're lazy, but maybe it comes to the first thing, just say yes to things you normally say no and see how you feel, see what works for you and what doesn't. And yeah, that's my toolkit. And sometimes I share it with people. I don't say to people, you have to do the 3 things. Just see what works for you. Just try it out. We only live once and we can just see what works, what doesn't. And then you can come up with your own toolkit of how adaptable you are. Because I do think we are not born with this skill, but this is something we can develop throughout our life. Yeah. So that's my
right. I love that.
Advice.
I love that. Say yes to things you normally say no to. So as a child, when I was brought up, we were always told it's polite to say no. When somebody offers you something, like, would you like a biscuit? Oh, thank you. Yeah. And I really wanted a biscuit. So sometimes when people invite you to do things, we just go no. And then afterwards we think, oh, actually, I really wanted to do that. So I love that. Say yes to things you normally say no to. Find your tribe. I mean, that's how we've met. We've met through Circle Networks. We were introduced by the lovely Sarah Jones. People, yeah, being around the right people. And I think particularly for business owners, it can be a very lonely place. And I was speaking at our Circle Networks event this morning. We were saying, you know, when we leave a job and we start our own business, one of the things that we miss is a Christmas party. Because a lot of us are self-employed or working in small teams, and we're not big enough. If we've left an organization that's maybe 20, 50 or 100 people, they have big Christmas parties, and everybody enjoys those, and we miss out on things like that. So running a small business can be a very lonely place. If you're busy just looking after your clients, Who do you share ideas with? Who do you bounce stuff off? Social things, hobbies, all of those kind of things. Those are what I would class as our networks, not always in a business sense, but the people that we're around. So and Russell Green described circle networks as his tribe. So, and it's interesting, you know, I had a call with someone this morning. We had a call. It was nothing to do with business. It was just some personal stuff. They were asking me advice on something. When you've got the right people around you, you can open up and share things, get things off your chest, know that there's people that care for you. It has a massive impact on our business, but on our well-being as well, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It's so important. And when I started earlier this year, and I was working on my business, and as you said, you can feel a bit lonely. And yeah, of course, you can surround yourself with your former colleagues, with your friends and family, but it's important to find your new tribe. Yeah. And I think even for me with the networking, like I told you about, like the fear of public speaking, and just to be exposed to new things. And I'm sure it is with everybody. Everybody is a bit nervous to go networking the first time because you don't know people you're going to meet. And the people in the group know each other, so you don't know how you're going to fit in, but you have to do it. And again, it comes to say yes to things you normally say no, then your tribe will follow, and just don't forget to look after yourself, and everything will be easier than you think it is.
And if you imagine, so a lot of the people that watch this will be in business. How many people do you know? So if you're watching this, how many people do you know who've got a job, who are too scared to start their business? You've already taken the big step in starting your own business. And there might be some people watching this who are thinking of starting their business. Yeah, it's going to be tough, but it's going to be such fun as well and so rewarding. And you need business owners around you who understand what it's like being in business, because it's different to having a job, isn't it?
Absolutely right. And every time I'm having a conversation one-to-one with someone, it's sort of a similar story why you've started your own business, and the one you regret that everybody's sharing, it's just a shame I haven't started sooner. And this is exactly what I'm thinking. I know it's hard, and it's been hard, and it will be hard because you work for yourself, but I wish you could have started sooner. Yeah. Because it's so rewarding, especially when you're surrounded by the right people.
I remember being at school wanting to start my own business. It took me till I was 40 to do it.
See?
So yeah, but I love it. It's tough, but it's not as tough as having a boss and having to be at your desk and being told what to do all the time and not being appreciated and all those things that we don't like. So yeah. And then the last bit, take care of ourselves. That is so important.
And we forget about it. And especially, I think a lot of business owners, we all start our business just because we want to be more flexible with our time, with our routine. So we don't have to report to the boss. We want to be our own boss, be flexible, spend time with family. But then you're caught up because it's overwhelming to run your own business. And then you're caught up in business admin, life admin, and you just forget about yourself and you forget why you actually started. So that's why it's very important just to sometimes take a step back, maybe switch off your phone and have a think for like an hour or two. Okay, what do I need to do to slow down? How can I look after myself? Because it will make such a massive change, even this hour that you've spent with yourself.
Yeah, definitely. And what do? We put everybody else first as business owners. We put customers first, we put our family first. We work harder. It's all right. I'll work late. I'll get up early. I'll sacrifice sleep or my hobbies or whatever it is. But it's a bit like when something bad happens on an airplane. You should put the oxygen on yourself first before anybody else.
That's true.
So what are you doing? You know, for me, I gave myself a bit of a wake-up call a couple of months ago and decided I need to lose some weight. So I've dropped a stone in weight now. I've got another 1/2 to maybe 1 stone to go to get to where I want to get to. I track it. I weigh myself. I'd never even had scales before. So because I didn't want to weigh myself. So having some personal health goals, sleep, getting into a routine, getting outside, and it's different. So we're filming this at the start of September. as the nights are going to start drawing in. So for us in the UK, we're approaching autumn, then winter. You're the opposite because you're in the UK about to go back to South Africa for summer. So we're approaching our winter where it's going to be dark and it affects people's mood. And one of the things that I love about my business now is that I work from home and I can walk the dogs during the day. I've got 2 dogs. I used to have to get up in the dark, walk them, go to work, and then come home and walk them again in the dark. And I missed out on the daylight outside. Now I can do it during the day. So what's important to you, I guess? How can you make some little changes to take better care of yourself? Nobody can answer that but you, I guess, can they? What people can do, though, they can identify some of the things maybe that somebody like you, Yulia, could help them with that they don't like doing, that they know they're not very good at, that they know that somebody could do it quicker and better. And it just takes that bit of stress away. And we feel like we've had a weight lifted off when we speak to somebody who's an expert at sharing the burden, managing tasks that they don't like to do. It's surprising the difference that makes. And I'm a huge fan of surrounding yourself with the right people. You don't need to take on loads of staff. You can have a small team of people that work virtually like you do, that are good at dealing with certain aspects of the business.
Absolutely. And as a human, and it's just a human's nature, we don't like to let go. We don't like a change. All of us. So it's very hard for us to actually think, okay, I'm too busy. Shall I just work with somebody or collaborate with someone? Unless somebody actually tells you, like your friend or family, or even maybe a business mentor, your coach tells you, all right, I think you need help. It's only that time you're like, oh, actually, maybe yes. And as an example, it happened to me at the very start when I was working on my website and I was thinking I can develop the website myself because this is something I want to do for my clients. But then what changed? I actually said to myself, all right, just talk to somebody, talk to a professional. And you know what? It was a completely different story because the whole website was just redesigned and redeveloped from the scratch after this conversation. And then I was thinking to myself, why did I want to do it all by myself? I could just ask for somebody 30 minutes and it would have made a world of difference to me and to my business from the very beginning. But you live, you learn, and you make mistakes and you learn from mistakes.
Yeah. So I like that. So the question to wrap this up then is, there's 3 things that you've talked about, Yulia. So this is what people should be thinking about. What am I going to say yes to that I normally say no to? So that's having that as a mindset and an attitude, isn't it? Right. This week, I'm going to say yes to something that I normally say no to, or I'm going to go and do something that I've wanted to do, but always put off doing. Find your tribe. So that's who are you going to join? What are you going to be involved with? What area of your life needs something new? And then the last bit, how are you going to take care of yourself? So what changes could you bring in to take better care of yourself? And I'm guessing if people don't know how to do any of those things, they could get in touch with you and ask you what you did.
Absolutely. So if you know anyone who wants to share their story about adaptability, maybe moving to a new country, moving to a new house, starting a new business, just get those people in touch with me and I'll happy just to have a chat about things in life that we can adapt to.
Perfect. I love it. Right. Thank you very much. Last thing, if somebody wants to get in touch with you, where can they find you?
It's very easy. So my website is my name, Yulia, which is Yulia-I Organize, because this is what I do this is what I do. At yuliaiorganize.com, and this is where you can find me. There is a contact page with all the possible contact ways to get in touch with me, and I'll be happy to connect.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Nice chatting to you.
Thanks, Jamie.